the oil industry has made $58 million in campaign contributions to federal candidates, with 81% of those contributions going to Republican candidates. Clearly, that money has not only bought the oil companies a certain amount of immunity from scrutiny. In fact, back in November, when they had to testify before Congress, they weren't even required to be under oath. That was just one example. But it's also bought them continued preferential
They weren't
treatment.
required to be under oath?
That's correct.
Is that normal?
That is not normal. I have testified before Congress many times, and testifying under oath is always the thing that Congress does.
When the cigarette guys got up there and said, I swear I don't think, I don't believe, they were under oath, weren't they?
They absolutely were.
They dodged it by saying, I don't believe, so you know.
Yes.
But they were under oath, yeah, okay.
They were. The other thing that the campaign contributions from the industry has bought them is preferential treatment in the legislative and regulatory process. I'll give you a perfect example. In August 2005, President Bush signs into law the most expensive energy bill in America's history. This is the energy bill that had its foundation in his Vice President Dick Cheney's Energy Task Force, which, as we all know, met privately with many energy company CEOs and nobody else. That energy bill, passed in the midst of record profits by oil companies, spends $5 billion in new taxpayer subsidies to the oil industry, including a brand new spending program that'll give $1.5 billion in cash payments to oil companies to do deep water drilling in the Gulf of Mexico for oil and natural gas. The only plausible explanation I can come up with about why oil companies continue to receive the bulk of public subsidies, why they're not required to testify under oath, and why they're immune from adequate scrutiny is the fact that they give so much campaign cash to politicians. I call it legalized bribery. It should be illegal. We need to reform the political system so that special interests like the oil industry don't have more power than individuals in our country. Our Constitution guarantees that it's one person, one vote. It shouldn't be if a corporation happens to give millions of dollars, they get better treatment than the rest of us.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and a leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.